I'm on my fitness phase. Well, I am, and I'm with Colin. And as usual, Colin is... What are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm going to put a bit of air in the back wheel.
Faffing.
Yeah, faffing, if you want to call it faffing. Fine with that.
I've been doing a psychometric testing qualification thing for work, and I needed a break. So I'm going out for a bike ride with Colin, who's here, look.
Yeah, I'm here, and I was accused of faffing, and he had to go back because he forgot to charge his battery up.
Not quite true.
And he'll probably edit that out.
I will do. So Colin was rather keen to come out for a bike ride. He worked out on the internet a good bike ride, 6.2 mile. I said to him yesterday by text, "Are we doing that 4 times then?" No, he said. How many times are you going round? Once?
Once to start off with.
A bike ride.
I might go round again, you know.
Bike ride.
But I don't want
Discuss.
To
We wanted some hills. So come out of the marina gates, turn right, first hill.
And we're going to turn right.
Oh. Hardly a hill then, Cole.
Right. All right.
To be fair, I'm a bit out of breath, and we turned right, went downhill, and this is a long uphill, not steep, but it's a gradual incline that keeps on giving. Don't know where Colin is. His wife's been over here, and he's just been drinking and restauranting, and so he's a little bit out of shape, as I am, to be honest. And I've tried those elastic bands, what do they call them, resistance bands. I've been doing some of them, and whilst it's not cardio, it is starting to make me a bit stronger. Nice view, and we've had some snow. I bet for the Labour Party, who cancelled winter fuel payments for the old and bold, I bet they were hoping for a mild winter. I think this is going to be an interesting 5 years with Labour Party coming in. You know, with 14 years of being in opposition, you would have thought they'd come in with a plan, straight away implemented it. No. And what amazes me, listening to all these different news channels, interviews with the Labour front bench, they're very weak on detail, which means they haven't got a plan, because it can't be held to account for anything. Here he is, look. Colin's taking charge of his plan to keep fit.
All those people
don't stop
who suggested a electric bike seems like a good idea at the moment.
Keep on.
Sorry.
You doing okay?
Yeah. Doing good. Doing good. 7-8 weeks in the pubs and other hostelries, being with my wife, and all we seemed to do was eat and drink. So Chris will get me back into shape. I don't know what shape it'll be, but hopefully smaller and lighter than what I am.
How much do you put on?
I reckon probably 5 kilos.
5 kilos, about £12.
Yeah.
Nearly a stone in old money.
Yes, it's about a stone, I reckon.
In 8 weeks. Easy to do though.
Yeah.
Easy to do, difficult to lose. We've got a winter to lose it.
Oh yeah, we'll have
and I want to lose some. I don't know how much yet.
Yeah, but you're swapping yours by putting heavier muscle on. So
Yeah. I do mine by holes in the belt.
that's what I do. Holes in the belt.
No science behind it. Holes in the belt.
Yeah.
And if I can tie it up to my last hole in the belt, then I'm where I was in February last year.
There you go.
And that's what my aim was.
Well,
So it's all down to eating.
it is.
Canal, look.
Oh, there you go.
Left here, mate. Big downhill. Here he goes, look.
Well, if you want to go around again, you can. I'm not.
That's all right, mate.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm on holiday, yes, but I've come to see my daughter, and I've come out to Jordan. Now it's winter time in Jordan, and I have to say it's a lot colder in Jordan than it is in Amman. It's part of the Middle East, but it's colder, and I didn't really come prepared for how cold it is. Still, that's called an admin issue. You know, it's not UK cold. And the other thing is raining. So I've come out on a little trip with Lucy. She needed to come to work for whatever reason. Quite a nice area, and I'm going to give you a bird's eye view of Amman. What I have come to notice is it's very much, because we're on the border of a number of countries that have got issues at the moment, it is very similar to those. Very. So imagine, you know, Syria, Palestine, stroke Israel, stroke that area of the world. Imagine that being bombed out. This is what it's like when it's not bombed out. I think that's a good way of looking at it. And there's some nice areas here. So, welcome to the vlog. It's nothing to do with narrowboating, but it is, I've always said this, it's about my life on a narrowboat. Now, whilst my life isn't on a narrowboat at this moment in time, it is my life. And I still do live on a narrowboat. And, well, more of that later. Enjoy the view. Jordan, officially the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, is a country in the southern Levant region of West Asia. Jordan is bordered by Syria to the north, Iraq to the east, Saudi Arabia to the south, and Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories to the west. The Jordan River, flowing from the Dead Sea, is located along the country's western border with the Jordan Rift Valley. There's a small coastline along the Red Sea in its southwest. It's separated by the Gulf of Aqaba from Egypt. Amman is the country's capital and the largest city. Now, Amman, which is where I stayed with my daughter and her family, it has an estimated population of 11.5 million. Its GDP is only 132 billion, so it's the 91st richest country in the world, and these are estimated things. Time zone is +3 hours from Greenwich Mean Time, and Amman is about 10,000 metres above sea level, so it's quite high up, as it happens. During my trip, I went to Wadi Rum, I went to see Petra, Little Petra, and I had a dip in the Red Sea. All this to come over the next couple of videos. Welcome to Wadi Rum in Jordan. It's a place I've always wanted to go. I'm going to Petra tomorrow, another place I've always wanted to do, and because my daughter lives out here, great experience, great life. It's about the 5th time she's been here, so you know, for her it's not the novelty, but it's always nice to spend some daddy-daughter time. Don't do it enough, actually. But here I am, staying in that boudoir. More about Wadi Rum later. Oh, there's some camels there, look. The Bedouin clearly like their camels. And if you notice, on the floor is a baby camel that was born the night previous. It's about, I don't know, 8 hours old. The Bedouin tribes have lots of camels, of which they race, and if you're at the right place at the right time, you can see a camel race. Here we are doing a bit of Bondu bashing, or well, not so much Bondu, but desert bashing, wandering across on one of the tours. You can do a 3-hour tour or a 6-hour tour. We opted for the 3-hour tour as it's a little bit hard going for little Louis. Talking of hard going, walking up this sand dune, I was huffing and puffing. Views are good though, when I eventually got up there. There we go, look. Oh. The Valley of the Moon, depicted as Mars in several Hollywood feature films, Wadi Rum is an Arabian fairy tale waiting to be discovered. Home to nomadic Bedouin tribes, Wadi Rum is a quiet getaway of stars, sand and sun, a perfect complement from Amman's epicentre. Totes amazeballs. Going down's a gift, that's all I can say. Absolutely easy, no huffing and puffing. Could have blown the house down, that big old bad wolf. Stunning though. Lawrence of Arabia, or T.E. Lawrence, spent a significant amount of time here during the course of the British-inspired Arab revolt against the Ottoman Empire during the First World War. Fans of the 1962 film of Lawrence of Arabia will be familiar with the landscape, which is not so much sand dunes as it's a mass of soaring cliffs and sandstone and granite mountains. Can you see those pictures there? It's somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle it is. Don't know where. It's just in the middle. Needed to squeeze through this bit of rock, and and my knees were hurting. Squeeze through. Lovely. I mean, there's some great pictures. I didn't take many great pictures, to be honest. Didn't really have much time. Anyway, on our travels again. I love the contrast of the blue, the deep blue sky and the red sand. It is amazeballs. Lucy was telling me that Wadi Rum, well, one is amazing, but two, always busy, except just recently. The problems that have happened in Gaza has stopped the tourist trade. Let me assure you, there's nothing wrong with it. There's no dramas here in Jordan whatsoever. So if you want to come to Wadi Rum and you've got a spare bit of cash, get yourself over to Jordan. It's not particularly busy. It is amazing, and don't worry about what the press tell you about the dramas of Gaza and all the rest of it, because it's just, well, let's put it this way, there's no dramas. We're at the site of where Lawrence of Arabia lived. That ruin there, that's where he lived. You can just picture it, can't you? Him and his Arabian Knights, or whatever they call themselves. It's just such beautiful scenery. I don't know what all these things are for, but people have left their mark and no one, well, I say no one, they might fall down, but people respectful of other people's marks, aren't they?
It's so amazing, this night scenery here, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, totes amazeballs.
You can understand why they used it for so many space movies, can't you?
Yeah, and of course Mars is exactly the same as this, isn't it?
Well,
Climbing up these rock faces and all that sort of stuff is okay, and then when you've got a narrow bit, gives me the willies. You know, when you're young, full of boldness, yeah, invincible, you're not scared of anything. I mean, you see, it was only a what, 2 foot ledge to stand on and walk across another bit of rock. But yeah, do you know what? Age catches up with you. I don't have the same confidence on those 2 foot bits of rock, especially when the wind blows. Might fall off. I wouldn't, but you never know. This is great. A few solar panels over there, look. And for a land that's got plenty of sun, more wind generated power than solar generated power. And yet we in the UK, well, of course Ed Miliband is of the belief that we're going to be 95% power generated from the sun and the wind in the UK, because you can't guarantee the wind and the sun. Well, not in the UK. That's my opinion. As the night draws in, the sun doesn't take long to go down, but because it's behind that mountain thing, that big bit of rock, it took a long time for blue out to finish. The next bit of clip is where we went for dinner, and a nice, marvellous Bedouin tent next to the rock. Bit of a raging fire going on the inside, lots of teapots, which little Louis liked. And then we had dinner, which was cooked in the traditional way, digging a hole in the ground, putting some stuff in the hole, and there's a fire in there somewhere or other. I don't know how it works, however, that's the way it goes. Traditional Jordanian Bedouin type food, rice, hummus, a bit of salad. And in that pot was some meatballs, orange juice, some finger food for pudding, which some of it was quite nice, some of it was dreadful, and I had seconds, chicken. This is a nice place. It's a Bedouin style tent with 2 beds, twin room, lovely shower, and perfectly lovely, to be honest. Don't forget, I'm here in the winter. It is chilly. It has been cold at night, but the air conditioning keeps you warm, and it's a quiet air conditioning unit, which is also good. What I found not strange but important, we went for dinner and the electricity went off and the backup generator came on. So even in a country that has a lot of sun, admittedly it's the winter, and I suspect in the summertime the electricity probably stays on all night through solar power. In the winter it didn't. About 8 o'clock last night, I'm halfway through dinner, lights went out, backup generator started and lights come back on. So it's a lovely place. It's got the amenities that you require, that you need. I'm not having a pop at anyone, I'm just trying to make people understand who are the government in the UK. This is a country that has a lot of sun. In the winter time, even though it has a lot of sun, by comparison to the UK, the lights went out. It must also be understood that this is a small Bedouin style entrepreneurship, and there are a lot of them here, companies, families that set up for tourists to come and see Wadi Rum. It's not a country. We don't know how much electricity, how much battery, how much power is generated, how that can last, but it doesn't last. And I fear that it will be the same in the UK. It doesn't matter how much power you have, if people are going to use it, then it's going to run out because there's no sun at night. The wind drops at night. I just can't see this net zero thing working in the UK. It's got more chance of working out here, but then it doesn't. I'm not going to bang on too much about net zero because I don't know enough about it. But there's a channel that I would advise you to have a look at, and it was done by Sky News Australia. The Real Cost of Net Zero is called. It's an hour of your time. I think it would be well worth viewing if you haven't already viewed it. If you have, if you're on the margins of net zero, whether you think it's going to work or not, well, this documentary by Sky News Australia will help you decide. I don't think Ed Miliband has got a clue. Every YouTube channel, podcast, or that's got someone who is scientific, someone who's knowledgeable on net zero, other than this NESO pile of crap that has been endorsed by Ed Miliband, clearly because he's the managing director of the company. You can imagine that in a boardroom, can't you? We're going to come up with a plan. We're going to come up with an independent report that's going to be independent about how net zero is going to work, isn't it, for the UK? You can imagine that, can't you? I've been in meetings like that when the boss has told you this is going to happen, isn't it? And it's going to work, isn't it? And of course, then you make it work.
but that's within my control. I don't think there's enough science. I don't think there's enough homework. I don't think there's enough common sense. And that's the key point. It doesn't feel right. And generally, for me, if it doesn't feel right, it isn't. There's a lack of detail in everything that Labour do. Every policy they come up with. No real detail, no real thought, no real strategy, just a plan. Not good enough. Anyway, watch this Sky News Australia, The Real Cost of Net Zero. I'll link it below. Give it a watch. It's worth your time. And if you're sat on the fence, you will have decided after watching that. So next week, clearly, I'm back. In case you haven't worked out. But I'm going away again. And I'm back again in February. Busy boy, busy boy, busy boy. So until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing if you have. And if you haven't, give it a go. It's free.